What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. On this episode, we're going to talk about a possible blockbuster deal between Buffalo and Chicago. A couple days ago, Jeremy Roenick said the Chicago Blackhawks would be could use Pat Kane as trade bait to lure a big-time goalie and, help their aspirations of not only making the playoffs this year, but winning the Stanley Cup. I think one possibility is Kane's from Buffalo. Ryan Miller isn't having a great year, but his talent is unparalleled, and his he can really change the dynamics of the Blackhawks. Maybe if they get in the playoffs as a 6 or 7 seed, they can really make a run with a guy like him back there. We saw what he could do at the Olympics. It's amazing, but it's kind of dicey here, and I know people are going to bash me. We shouldn't trade Kane. We shouldn't trade Miller. Look, it's hypothetical. I wouldn't pull the trigger if I was Chicago, but if I was Buffalo, I'd be interested. Talk about their cap numbers pretty much wash out. Kane's at $6.3 million, and Ryan Miller is at $6.25. So the $50,000 difference right there really isn't that much of a swing. Either team can take it. Maybe throw some picks in either way to sweeten the pot. But a blockbuster deal based around these two guys. The Pegula and the new Buffalo ownership went out and spent money on free agents this year. Unfortunately, Christian Ehrhoff and Ville Leno aren't, Steve Stamkos and Duncan Keith. I'm sorry. They're not that great. Either one of them. They've both had good playoff years in the past, and both good complementary players, but they're not the players that are signed to the deals. They really overpaid both of them, and they need an actual forward that can score. And Kane obviously has amazing abilities that we've seen. And like I said, Kane's from Buffalo. It's kind of a dicey relationship with him in the city of Buffalo. The cab driver incident a few years ago. I wouldn't go so far as to call it the Kobe Bryant relationship with Philly. If any of you saw that ESPN first take on Kobe, it's pretty interesting. But it's not the best relationship. But I think Kane would, be welcomed back by the fans of Buffalo. Have a hometown kid playing for the Sabres, and not only playing for the Sabres, but being a great player for the Sabres. It's be something I'd definitely be interested in seeing. But Ryan Miller isn't playing up to his capabilities, and I think part of that is Buffalo struggling. But 906 goals against average, 33rd in the league, 33rd in the league in save percentage with a 906, 33rd in the league with a 280 goals against average. He's not the guy that he's such a better player than that. He's a 500 goal. He played great yesterday against Pittsburgh, but he's really not playing up to his capabilities. He's really he's a great goaltender that should not be, getting lit up the way he is. And they got a decent goalie, young goalie, Jonas Rothwaite in the wings, that I think could really, start in Buffalo and be a capable player in Buffalo that helps you, make long playoff runs. Ryan Miller's talent, I don't think anyone's questioning that, but maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to send him to Chicago. They still got plenty of great forwards and plenty of great young forwards going through the system that can replace Kane by everyone stepping up a little bit. And then Miller, stopping everything. Gives you defense. You get some great defensemen in Nick Leddy and Duncan Keith that are especially creative with the puck. Having him back there allows them to take more risks offensively, knowing you get a great goalie, it's going to stop the puck coming back on you. And I think Kane would fit great in Buffalo. Like I said, they like small forwards, and I think he'd be a great piece out there that would really make Buffalo fans happy and make the on-ice product much better. I think I wouldn't recommend Chicago doing it. I think Chicago can find a goalie elsewhere, but if there was a blockbuster that could go down, I can see this happening. I can really see Miller for Kane swap. I wouldn't like it. I think Pat Kane would go on to become a Bruins killer playing their division, having played them 6 times a year. But I think Ryan Miller would make Chicago a definite contender in the West. Not that they already aren't, but with the free fall they've been on. And I think Kane long-term helps Buffalo. This year is kind of a lost year. They're supposed to compete and do all that. And they're supposed to compete with the Bruins, the reigning Cup champs of the division. And that's obviously not happening. But, I'm really curious to see what shakes up long-term for both teams. Chicago needs a goalie, and Buffalo could use some homegrown talent up front. The guys they signed suck. There's a rumor of a amnesty clause coming up with a new CBA. Billy Leno is going to get feel like Leonard's getting amnestied faster than you can say overpaid unrestricted free agent. He's out of there. Once that amnesty clause kicks in, I think it's this year. I hope it is for a lot of teams' sake. But hey, we'll see what happens. That's it for this episode of the Power Play with CJ on a possible Ryan Miller for Pat Kane swap. Let me know what you guys think, especially Buffalo and Chicago fans. We want to know both ends of the spectrum. But that's it. Later, guys. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season.